and the air vents at a popular off-campus housing complex has some students on the move.
Turning right on red? Not so fast. We'll tell you about new rules at intersections across Chapel Hill.
And we'll introduce you to a Carolina graduate student who is overcoming her disability and defying expectations.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adam Jordan.
And I'm Julie Kuhn. Let's get right to our top story. Students at one of the largest off-campus housing developments at UNC say they're facing a potentially dangerous issue, and now management is forced to take action. Reporter Elizabeth Holmes joins us live from Granville Towers with more on this developing story. Elizabeth?
That's right, Jilly. Granville Towers administration working to combat what some residents are now calling a mold outbreak. Take a look at this picture right here. That is mold growing inside an air vent in a resident suite in Granville West. Residents say the mold growth isn't happening in just one tower, but it's happening in all three, South, East, and West Tower. Granville Towers sent out an email to residents saying they were working with a certified industrial hygienist to figure out how to address the situation, but one student told me that some students have even been moved out of their rooms because of it. And Granville Towers administration is also encouraging students to visit Campus Health if they show any signs of the cold or any skin irritation. Reporting live from Granville Towers, Elizabeth Holmes, Carolina Week.
Attention drivers, turning right on red is about to be illegal at many intersections in Chapel Hill. Reporter Peyton Tysinger tells us more.
That's right, drivers, listen up. You can no longer turn right on red in certain parts of Chapel Hill. This measure is a part of what the town says is an ongoing effort to increase safety for people using crosswalks and to decrease the number of wrecks that occur at intersections. The policy predominantly impacts the central business district as well as areas near UNC Chapel Hill. Take a look at this map. You can see all 16 intersections where the changes will be implemented. The town says that these are the areas with the highest levels of pedestrian traffic. We talked to pedestrians and drivers alike. Neither seemed to approve of the new policy.
People are just used to going right on red all the time that they're just not going to pay attention to it.
And I understand that it helps protect pedestrians, but people are going to walk across the street whenever they want if they see an opening.
I think it's kind of ridiculous because I feel like it kind of slows traffic down.
If you are anything like me, turning right on red is going to be a difficult habit to break. Luckily, this policy doesn't take effect until October 31st, so we all have a little bit of time to acclimate. Reporting in Chapel Hill, I'm Peyton Tysinger, Carolina Week.
Police are continuing to search for a man who disappeared from Chapel Hill 2 weeks ago. 33-year-old Griffiths Hayhoe was last seen September 25th on Green Street. He's a 6'3" white male with brown hair, brown eyes, and a thin build. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Chapel Hill Police.
After years of campaigning, students, faculty, and staff finally have a Latinx center on campus. The university cut the ribbon on the new center Friday, which is located in the Public Policy Department in Abernathy Hall. Members of the Carolina Latinx community say they hope the center will meet the needs of the growing Latinx population. It will be a hub for several on-campus groups and Greek organizations.
Now to a story of strength and determination. Doctors told Megan Crowley that she wouldn't live past age 5.
But as reporter Melissa Rademacher shows us, Megan is now a UNC graduate student who is defying expectations.
Everyone has days when all they want is to be left alone. But for Megan Crowley, a UNC grad student with Pompe disease, those moments are almost impossible. Doctors diagnosed Crowley with Pompe, a rare genetic disorder that causes severe muscle weakness, when she was 15 months old. She has nurses with her 24/7 because she can't breathe on her own and uses a ventilator. But she has never let what she calls her minor breathing issue get in the way of living her life. Doctors told her parents Pompe would affect her vital organs, and she would likely not live more than a few years. But with new treatment, she did live, and she's been living a full life ever since. With the help of her family and nurses, she's now here at the UNC School of Social Work, continuing to defy the odds. She wants to help others going through life with rare diseases. While having Pompeii has shaped Crowley's life, it doesn't define her. Her roommate Haley Nusser says Crowley has a big impact on the people around her.
Rarely anything gets her down, and she just has a very good attitude about everything, and I think it definitely has motivated me to be that way too.
Crowley says now that there's treatment and she's stable, she just has to work things, like infusion treatments and physical therapy, into her schedule. It's these small, everyday challenges that have become a part of Crowley's life, a life she's happy to have. But despite the daily challenges, Crowley is more than okay with having people around all the time, if it means she can have her life. In Chapel Hill, I'm Melissa Rademacher, reporting.
Megan has done a lot for others. She's raised thousands of dollars for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and in 2017, she met with President Trump in the Oval Office to talk with him about rare diseases.
What an inspiration. We're keeping our eye on what Megan will do here at Carolina and beyond. Now let's go outside for a live look. It's been feeling more like fall lately, but are these cooler temperatures here to stay? Weather is up next.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers, we have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Interim Chancellor Kevin Guskiewicz is in the spotlight today after a story published on the website The Athletic called his sports-related concussion research into question. The story argues that when Guskiewicz studied UNC football players for his concussion research, an abnormally high number of them were diagnosed with ADHD and then prescribed drugs that the NCAA normally bans as performance-enhancing. Guskiewicz is accused of not including the ADHD findings in his published research. The interim chancellor responded to the article's allegations, saying he stands behind his research 100%. Carolina football has announced yet another change in the student ticket system after receiving complaints. The athletic department is implementing a lottery system for football similar to how students get basketball tickets. Problems surfaced during the second home game against App State when the ticket portal server crashed, leaving students unable to get into the stadium. The new system goes into effect for the Duke game on October 26th.
Health officials are urging you to get your flu shot. They say this year's flu season could be deadlier than previous years. And as reporter Gray Hurley tells us, college students are particularly at risk.
It finally feels like fall, but with fall comes flu season. And for some students, flu season hit last month.
You know, it's usually been something in the past that I've been a little bit more hesitant to do just because it's not something I typically had done in the past and I had stayed healthy. But this year I got the flu a couple weeks back, and it's definitely opened my eyes about being more receptive towards getting the flu shot.
Universities are hotspots for flu outbreaks. The virus can spread in many places around campus, but it is mainly contracted in dorms and dining halls. Many students are encouraging others to be proactive by getting their flu shot. However, not everyone thinks that getting the vaccination is worthwhile.
I don't know, I feel pretty safe. I feel pretty confident in my ability to not get the flu. And even if I get the flu, I don't feel that bad about it because then at least I'll get to skip classes and I'll have a legitimate reason to.
The university is encouraging students to take advantage of all the amenities and resources that campus health provides to both prevent and treat the flu as the weather gets colder. In Chapel Hill, I'm Gray Hurley, Carolina Week.
It's the 3-year anniversary of the university's 3 Zeros environmental initiative. The program has 3 goals: zero waste to landfills, net zero greenhouse gas emissions, and net zero water usage on campus. So how close is the university to meeting those goals? We don't know. No formal plan has been released, but lots of small projects have already been put into place. The program has installed reusable cups, compost areas around campus, LED lights in both classrooms and parking decks.
Well, Jilly, it looks like all of the hot weather that we were complaining about might finally be gone for good.
I know, I've officially busted out the fall wardrobe. Let's go to meteorologist Cruz Medina, who has our full forecast.
Good afternoon, Carolina, and thanks for tuning in on this beautiful fall day. We've finally seen those fall-like temperatures settle in across our region, and those are going to stick around, as we'll see in our 5-day forecast coming up. For the month of October, we usually see a temperature of about 72 for a high, so today will be right around our average high for this time of year. And our average lows, we usually have that temperature of about 47 as we head through the overnight hours. And as you'll see in the 5-day, have those temperatures dipping down to the lower 50s, so we'll be just slightly above average, but you won't really be able to tell. And as far as rainfall goes, we usually see about 3.8 inches of rain here in Chapel Hill, and for the month of October, we've actually had a very dry start, and we don't have any huge rainmakers in the near forecast. So we'll be praying and hoping to get some of that rain, hope to lessen those drought conditions that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. Our highs for today: Raleigh, you'll go 73. Durham and Chapel Hill, you'll be around 72. So it's going to be a very gorgeous day. And even as we head through the overnight hours, we'll see that temperature drop down to about 55 tonight. So it will be crisp and cool out there, but overall, a great evening to get out and enjoy the fall weather. Now, as we zoom out to our 5-day forecast, we'll see those temperatures stay around the 70s all throughout the week. Friday, we jump up to 77. And those warmer temperatures will stick around through Saturday, as we could possibly hit 80, but then we'll cool back down on Sunday with that high of 75 and mostly cloudy.
Thanks, Cruz. So what are we going to do in all of these cooler temperatures?
Reporter Blake Morgan has some ideas in our weekly blender.
226 years ago, there were only 15 states in the Union. George Washington was president, and the first public university began construction on this very campus. This Saturday commemorates that birthday, aka University Day. On October 12, 1793, the cornerstone of Old East was placed, making it the oldest public university building in the United States. University events kick off at 10:30 a.m. with a procession from the Old Well, and the ceremony begins at 11. 4 Carolina graduates will receive distinguished alumni awards, so it's going to be a great day. You guys have any big plans for University Day?
Well, since big week for birthdays, we have University Day, and of course it's reporter Elizabeth Holmes' birthday today, so I think I'm going to celebrate and make some cupcakes.
I'm going to be out of town, but will you make me some and
Absolutely.
save me? All right, good.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well, the football team is on a bye week. The weather's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. I think we need a tailgate for the university's birthday.
I'm not opposed.
Might as well, right?
Let's do it, might as well.
It's the least we can do.
Coming up, midterms, but for sports. It's the mid-season grading report when we come back.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves him green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
What's going on, guys? I'm Brian Gallagher. Today I grade 4 UNC teams based on their performances as we hit the middle of the season. But before we go into that, let's talk about men's soccer on Tuesday. The West Virginia Mountaineers had a long hike home after the 3-1 win Tuesday night. Off a corner from Milo Garvinian in the 28th minute, Mauricio Pineda was able to trap the ball and nail it right out of the West Virginia's keeper's reach. Pineda had the Mountaineers seeing double with another goal assisted by Jelani Peters only 39 seconds later. With a nasty juke and chip over the Mountaineers' keeper head, Jonathan Jimenez's 71st minute goal put the 3-1 in the bag for the Heels. After Pineda's commanding performance, Coach Somoana had nothing but praise for his senior captain as a leader and a player.
I don't really have words to say what he means to the program or the team. He's just one of those guys that defines Tar Heel for me. So he's going to, no matter what happens down the stretch here, he's going to go down in my book as one of the greats. So.
This win highlights as a positive in what's been an up and down season for the men's soccer team, one of the more average fall sports. That being said, I'm going to give this squad a B+, just a letter grade below women's soccer. With only one loss this season, women's soccer remains dominant despite the Heels' bad first half against Clemson on Saturday. Carolina proved it can rely on its reserves when the starters can't get the job done. A- for you ladies. Football is definitely a lot better than last year, but still struggles to play well all 4 quarters. UNC can't rely solely on the fourth quarter if they want to do well this season. C+ for the football team. Last but not least, the field hockey team continues its 33-game winning streak after beating the second-ranked Duke Blue Devils. I fully expect the Heels to repeat as national champions and will bet cold hard cash to whomever disagrees. A+. Now on to a team that hasn't been so hot this season, the volleyball team. But have an exciting freshman, Lauren Harrison, who is dominating the game since coming back from injury.
Lauren Harrison, a 2-time 4A State Player of the Year, graduated high school expecting to play her freshman year at UNC. After she suffered an ACL tear, her road to recovery began.
So my road to recovery was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through, but it definitely made me take volleyball not more seriously, but appreciate the little things, because I was definitely taking it for granted. But I think the whole recovery process made me a better person.
Though the journey wasn't easy, Lauren worked to make herself better during this recovery process, both physically and mentally.
It's definitely not easy because I'm not where I want to be right now, but I just have to take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, and just keep making little steps in order to get to where I want to be.
In addition to her personal determination to get back on the court, her support system has motivated her to continue giving it her all.
I had a lot of support from my family, coaches, teammates. Everyone was in there encouraging me. I used to do rehab on the sidelines in practice, and they always come by with some bit of encouragement. So it was definitely, everybody was there for me.
Harrison's injury has sculpted her into the player she is today. This season, she has been dominating both offensively and defensively.
My goals personally are to try to get back to 100% and keep working on shots like around the block or over the block. And then as a team, I just want to keep getting more wins and building our confidence.
Winning will do that for any program. In Chapel Hill, I'm Nala Terry reporting.
I'll leave you all with a fun fact. Former men's basketball coach Dean Smith retired 22 years ago today. That wraps it up for sports. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brian. Now this is a cool story. One of our classmates could just be the newest member of the Chapel Hill Town Council.
Yeah, imagine being a full-time student, but also a local politician. Senior Tai Wen is a first-generation American whose parents are refugees from Vietnam. Wen says that inequities in the community are what drove him to run for Chapel Hill Town Council. His campaign will focus on three things: affordability, sustainability, and inclusivity. As a young candidate, others often question Wen's credibility, but he says the criticism motivates him.
And so if we banded together as a community and really, put our voice to the table, the things that we can do is kind of limitless. And I think a lot of students don't realize that.
And he is actually tied for the youngest person ever to run for the town council. You can vote beginning on October 19th at the Chapel of the Cross on Franklin Street.
I don't know about you, Julie, but sometimes I have trouble even keeping my own schedule together. I can't even imagine being in charge of an entire town.
I'm only in 12 credit hours this semester, and I can barely handle that, so I could never do that. It's very impressive.
Definitely impressive. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.